Imagine the engine suddenly stops. You're thousands of feet above the ground, and someone asks the obvious question. Why doesn't the entire airplane just have a giant parachute? It sounds like a simple solution, but at cruising altitude, a parachute big enough to save a commercial airliner would create an entirely different problem. Commercial airplanes carry hundreds of people, thousands of kilograms of fuel, and enormous amounts of equipment. A typical passenger jet can weigh well over 100 tons when fully loaded, so saving it with a parachute isn't as simple as putting a giant canopy on top. The parachute would have to slow the aircraft enough to survive the descent and deploy without destroying the airplane. And that's where physics becomes the problem. First, there's size. A parachute designed to safely slow a massive airliner would need to be enormous, but simply making it bigger isn't enough. The parachute, cables, attachment points, and deployment system would all add significant weight, and airplanes spend their entire lives fighting weight. Every extra kilogram means more fuel. More fuel means higher operating costs. And there's an even bigger issue. When would you deploy it? Imagine an airplane traveling hundreds of miles per hour. You can't simply throw a giant parachute into that airflow. The forces could be so violent that the parachute, its attachment points, or even parts of the aircraft could fail. Instead of saving the airplane, the parachute could become the thing that destroys it. But there's another reason. Airliners are already designed around a very different safety strategy. Their engines are extraordinarily reliable, and even if one engine fails, commercial aircraft are generally designed to continue flying. In many situations, pilots can glide the aircraft and land safely. In fact, an airplane without engine power doesn't suddenly fall from the sky, it becomes a glider. But here's the fascinating part. Small aircraft actually can have whole aircraft parachutes. Systems, such as those used on some light aircraft, can deploy a large parachute and bring the entire aircraft down in an emergency. So the idea isn't impossible. The difference is scale. A small aircraft carrying a few people is one problem. A massive passenger jet carrying hundreds of people is an entirely different engineering challenge. And engineers have found that improving engines, structures, navigation, pilot training, and emergency procedures is generally a far more practical way to make air travel safe. This reveals something strange about aviation. The safest solution isn't always the most dramatic one. A giant parachute looks reassuring, but aviation safety is built around layers of protection. Multiple engines, redundant systems, backup computers, structural testing, constant inspections, highly trained crews, and carefully designed emergency procedures. Instead of trying to save an airplane after everything has gone wrong, engineers spend enormous effort making sure those failures rarely happen in the first place. So, the next time you look out of an airplane window at 35,000 feet, remember, there isn't a giant parachute hidden above you. And that's not because engineers forgot about it. It's because when you're moving a 100-ton machine through the sky, the best emergency system isn't necessarily the biggest parachute. Sometimes, the safest parachute is an airplane designed so well that you never need one.